Do you believe freedom is permanent? Most Americans do. They treat democracy like gravity, an invisible force that simply exists. But what if the ground beneath you was being removed, piece by piece, right now? This isn't about politics or policies. It is not about red versus blue. It is about a systematic stress test of the American experiment, and the man pressing the button is Donald J. Trump. To his supporters, he is a savior. To his critics, a chaotic anomaly. But both sides miss the deeper reality. Chaos isn't the byproduct of his leadership. Chaos is the primary weapon he wields. We assume dictatorships arrive with tanks in the streets, but modern democracies don't die with a bang. They die quietly, suffocated by legal loopholes, cynicism, and a public that becomes too exhausted to care. Trump understands something crucial about power. If you break the norms enough times, the norms stop existing. He isn't playing the game to win. He is playing to burn the rulebook to ash. Long before the White House, Trump sold a specific fantasy. In New York, he learned that perception matters more than reality. If you say you are the winner loud enough, the truth becomes irrelevant. This was his training ground. He discovered that shame is a weakness. If you never apologize and never admit defeat, you become untouchable. He took this tactic from real estate and applied it to democracy. In 2016, the system blinked. It treated him like a joke, then an anomaly. But he was actually exposing a crack in the foundation. He realized that institutions are only as strong as the people. If the people stop believing, the institutions crumble. Trump's genius was not in building things, but in identifying what could be broken. He saw that anger was a more potent fuel than hope. The media became the first target. By declaring truth to be fake news, he created a reality distortion field. When nothing is true, everything is possible. This is the first step of the autocrat. It is called gaslighting on a national scale. He forced the country to question its own eyes. Did the crowd size matter? Yes, because if he controls the narrative of small things, he controls everything. Then came the presidency. The guardrails held, barely. Generals and aides tried to contain the impulse, but Trump learned from this too. He learned that personnel is policy. Loyalty is more valuable than competence. He realized that the bureaucracy was the only thing stopping total control. So the plan for the return was simple. Replace the experts with loyalists. Purge the non-believers. Make the state serve the man. This is not speculation. It is written in the plans for Project 2025. It is a blueprint for concentrating executive power. It turns the Department of Justice into a personal law firm for the president. The courts were next. By appointing judges who favor executive immunity, the check on power disappears. The president becomes a king in all but name. The law applies to you, but not to him. Consider the rhetoric. He calls political opponents vermin. He suggests generals should be executed. This language has a historical echo. It dehumanizes the opposition, making any action against them seem morally justified to supporters. Violence becomes a political tool. January 6th was not a riot, it was a proof of concept. It showed that the peaceful transfer of power is optional. It normalized the use of force. Since then, the Republican Party has been reshaped in his image. Dissenters are purged. The party platform is simply Trump. There is no ideology left, only the whims of the leader. This is a cult.
But why does this work? Because democracy is hard work. It requires compromise. Trump offers an easy answer. I alone can fix it. It is the seduction of the strong man. It feels safe initially. Look at his allies, Orban in Hungary, Putin in Russia, Kim in North Korea. These are not coincidental friendships. These are role models. Trump envies their total control. He wants what they have. He questions alliances like NATO. He signals that America is no longer the guardian of democracy. This emboldens tyrants everywhere. If the beacon goes out, the rest of the world falls into darkness. The destruction is not just from above, it is from below. He has turned neighbor against neighbor. The trust required for a society to function is evaporating. We are becoming two different nations. Elections are the heartbeat of democracy. Trump has introduced an arrhythmia. By constantly claiming fraud without evidence, he ensures that half the country will never accept a loss again. The system cannot survive this. This is the strategy of the big lie. It is not about convincing everyone. It is about creating enough doubt to paralyze the system. When we cannot agree on the score, the game ends. Now, back in power, the gloves are off. There are no adults left in the room to say no. The revenge tour has begun. The constraints of the first term are now gone.
The civil service is being hollowed out. Career professionals are replaced by partisans. Scientific data is suppressed if it conflicts with political goals. The government ceases to serve the public and serves the party. The pardon power is weaponized. Criminals who help the leader are forgiven. Enemies are targeted. The rule of law transforms into the rule of man. Justice becomes a transactional commodity, bought and sold. Critics warn of fascism. Trump jokes about being a dictator for one day. But history tells us that temporary powers rarely stay temporary. Once the door to authoritarianism is cracked open, it swings wide. Corporate interests align with him. They fear retribution or seek deregulation. So the business elite, like Thiel and Musk, fall in line. They trade democracy for tax cuts. They bet on the strong man. The media is exhausted. They struggle to cover the flood of scandals. This is the fire hose of falsehood. Overwhelm the public until they tune out. Apathy is the dictator's best friend. Education is the new battleground. Banning books, rewriting history, controlling what can be said in classrooms. A democracy needs an educated populace. An autocracy needs obedient subjects who do not ask questions. The destruction is almost invisible to the average person. The coffee shop is open, Netflix still works, but in the halls of power, the machinery of freedom is being dismantled gear by gear. We are witnessing the normalization of the extreme. Things that would have ended a career 10 years ago are now a Tuesday. We have lost our capacity for shock. We are numb to the danger. So what is the end game? It is a hollow democracy. We will still have elections, but the outcome will be predetermined. We will have courts, but they will rubber stamp the leader. It is the Hungarian model, a soft autocracy. You can speak, but no one will hear you. You can vote, but it won't matter. The shell remains, but the spirit is dead. Trump is not the cause. He is the accelerant. He tapped into a darkness that was already there, but he has given it permission to rule. He has made cruelty a political virtue. The question isn't whether democracy will survive the next 4 years. The question is whether we will recognize it when it's gone. The sun is setting on the American century. You prefer the comfort of believing it can't happen here. But look closer. The cracks are spreading. The demolition is ahead of schedule, and the architect is smiling. Who stops him now?